everyone, coming up here on the AEW on the NXT Ring Report. 4 teams clash to determine the number 1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Which one of these 4 teams will earn themselves an opportunity for the NXT Championship? Talk about it coming up. Also, too, Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dane, Layla Diggs, and Thea Hill will compete in a fatal 4-way match to determine the number 1 contender, NXT Women's Champion Zarya. Like 4 ways stay with the tag team in the women's division. We'll see which one of these 4 women will get a shot at the women's North American title. Speaking of that, Charlotte Hill's back in action as he takes on the dangerous Nico Vance one-on-one. And in our main event, the new women's champion Kendal Grey will defend her goal against low-key legend Natalya. We get the pro wrestling show started. And plus, Sheamus with Drew McIntyre paying tribute to his friend Sheamus on what's going down. We'll get to it. We'll get the pro wrestling show started right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Peter Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation here for the NXT Ring Report. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right. The NXT Ring Report. We're here. It's go time. What's up? Let's get things started right now. We kick things off here on the NXT Ring Report. We kick things off with a confrontation between Armstrong, Lola Vice, the former women's champion, and Kelani Jordan. These women want to compete for an opportunity to go for the women's championship held by Kendal Grey. Next week there will be an opportunity that will be presented, and that opportunity will be presented next week. And you tell right here, these 3 women, these 3 lovely women, will compete. That's why I like it like that. You got sisters and Mamacita who want to compete for the NXT Championship next week. So we'll see that match next week between these 3. But the tension got riser, and we'll get to a little bit later in the championship defense as Kendal Grey, that wants to be like a version of Kurt Angle in the way Natalya wants to be a version of her uncle Bret Hart. Butts in some seats. That's what they said, but they was in action right here. Well, especially on Kyle Armstrong showing her power. She kind of reminds me of Bianca Belair when you think about it. Kyle Armstrong business, and we'll get to it a little bit later on what went down the end. Well, Shaquan Sugars still being a menace and terrorizing his former group mates of Dark State. Shaquan did do so. He was trying to chase. Dion Lynn was trying to chase Shaquan. Shaquan left out like high and dry. You can tell right here. They're still at each other's throat. Trying to get involved in the tag team situation, costing his former stablemates the chance of becoming tag team champions, go for the tag team titles. But like you said, the tag team championship picture, as you see right here, over the mill, Shawn Legacy and Dorian Vane, Dark State, and Birthright. Well, you can tell who's going to go down right here. As you see right here, Shawn Legacy and Dorian Vane are the new number 1 contenders for the tag team championships. So they get a shot at the tag team goal. We'll see on that goal and what that goal would do coming up. So looking forward to seeing that and how that's going to play out next week for the tag team championships. The Vandy Project will defend the tag team titles against Shawn Legacy and Dorian Van Duke. So we'll see how that's going to go down next week. How the Vandy Project do as well. So looking forward to seeing that as well. So a lot of moving parts throughout, even to the part that Jada Parker saying that she wants to get her hands on Natalya, but Natalya and Jada Parker probably will fight someday. It'll be soon when you think. But like I said, Jada Parker got a lot of stuff going on the screen and off the screen. You know what I mean? So read between the lines on that. Also, too, Shaquan Sugars talking to the interview about why he did what he did, saying he's gonna make Dark State's life, a living, what. So seeing how that's gonna go down. See, even Noraro saying that he still want a shot and opportunity in the NXT Championship. I can see him probably winning. Yeah, go don't sleep on Noraro. He's gonna do what he got to do. Yeah. Well, we saw Kenyu Carter in action. Kenyu Carter destroying one of the Hank and Tank, leaving them out and eating them up. Um, leveling them. I can tell you that right now. Kenyu Carter keeps getting seasoned enough and keeps working on himself. He probably could be a bad man down the road. You never know. So how that's gonna play out eventually. Stuff. Well, we go to this right here: a fatal four-way to determine who's next in line for a shot at the NXT North American Women's Championship. Will it be Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dane, Layla Diggs, or Thea Hill? I was looking at Layla Diggs. Watch LDG. What's going on with that? Layla Diggs pulled the upset and won her match over these two women. You know, on Thea Hill, Rain would have done it, but Layla Diggs comes out of nowhere and winning. So Layla Diggs will get her shot next week. Layla Diggs will get the shot next week. She'll go against Zarya. That's gonna be a squash match right there. Zarya's gonna make easy pieces with Layla Diggs. Layla Diggs just trying to get that opportunity, but Layla Diggs winning in her match tonight over Zarya. So Layla Diggs doing what she need to do, but she won. It's gonna be a tough battle next week. To tell you that right now. Well, that woman who attacked Taylor Paxton, her name's Raina Volcana. So we'll keep an eye on her. What she's gonna be bringing. She brought discretion last week to Taylor Paxton. Taylor Paxton ain't gonna forget about that. I'll tell you that right now. Well, it looks like they're doing a long-term deal between Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. You can tell Tavion's trying to soften Miles Bourne down the road. Tavion and Miles Bourne, why that be going up forward, but you can tell it's going to be something going on between them. Miles kind of opened up his heart and he's going to get stabbed in the back. Tell you what's going on. Looks like Shallow Hill was in action. Shallow Hill was in action against Nico Vance. Nico Vance won his match after Shallow Hill got distracted by Tristan Angels. Tristan Angels still not highly upset and bitter on what happened and cost Shallow the match against Nico Vance. Nico better watch his back because Nico got tapped from behind by Sean Spears. Sean Spears didn't forget about what happened to him. After they turned their back against him, talk about the GPS, Sean Spears looking like he wants to get some retribution, and he did over Nico Vance. I think Nico Vance better watch himself. I can tell you that right now. Nico Vance really didn't see that one coming as well. Well, we get to the main event. This is what before we get to the main event right here. You saw that. All right. The main event was Natalya challenging Kendal Grey for the NXT Women's Championship. Kendal Grey in her first championship defense against Natalya after winning the championship at the Great American Bash. Natalya did put all her effort in her might. She got lost to Jada Parker, and Kendal Grey keeps her championship dreams ahead. Kendal Grey winning, and Natalya got distracted by by Jada Parker. I think Jada Parker might be knowing that Natalya kind of ruined her and Jay Uso, if you kind of go back and see her and Jay Uso were in Italia's wrestling school, and she was kind of called out. Jay was kind of showing her around. And I think that might be the issue. Everything's just unraveling for Jay and Jada Parker. They're gonna have to keep their this is going and stuff, whatever. But you thought Kendal Grey keeps her championship intact. But Kendal Grey got 3 challengers away for her. You see, Kelani Jordan, Lola Vice, and Kyle. And these sisters ready to take down the American Golden Girl, and they might have booked. He said some derogatory. These sisters got a chance next week. Who's gonna be next in line for a shot at the NXT Women's Championship? I got my money on Kyle Armstrong because I think Lola Vice. No, Kyle Armstrong's gonna do it. They might make her be like the next Bianca Belair. I'm telling you. But we'll see next week. Kendal Grey will wait. Who's gonna meet her coming up? Probably a heat wave. Who knows? All right, that ends the NXT Ring Report. Let's move over to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we'll talk about this. It's been 30 years ago on this day. You will remember 1996. I remember 1996, 30 years ago. I was around my father's friend's house when they was watching WCW Bash at the Beach. And look who was around town. It was Hulk Hogan joining forces with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. They defeated Randy Savage and Lex Luger. People was trying to wonder who the third man was going to be. Everybody kept pointing to Sting, but it wasn't Sting. It was the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan and Nash and Hall changed the fortunes of wrestling, and Hulk Hogan turned heel for Hulk Hogan being a heel. But I didn't know. But in my point, looking at as a little kid, you think, oh, what's going on? Hulk Hogan turned to a bad guy, which I at that time was like red and yellow, but Hulk Hogan turned to a bad guy. I'm like, okay, that's a different change. I didn't think none of it. I was kind of like, oh, okay, Hulk Hogan's a bad guy. But he was one of the most powerful bad guys, and Hulk Hogan changed the fortunes of WCW and changed the fortunes of probably WWE too with the NWO. And now you can tell right here, Hulk Hogan and Hall and Nash have a legacy built of their faces as the founding members of the New World Order. So 7 years ago, 30 years ago on this day, the New World Order was born. Well, speaking of that, Sheamus looks like he'll be finding his New World Order because Sheamus be heading to AEW. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre sent this pit of Sheamus. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. After Sheamus announced that he was leaving WWE after not restructuring his contract deal, and now we know. So, Drew showing a memory of Sheamus. Speaking of that, we're hearing they said Lady Madonna said he's going to grind on grind. Oh man, I was saying that maybe R-Truth went on here and said, I don't even know if that's PG enough. I think JD meant to say is he's gonna beat the living, out of Danhausen over the Judgment Day money and been cursing the Judgment Day, especially with Lil Morty. Well, maybe R-Truth thought it was something different, but it wasn't that. You know how they go. Well, speaking of that, someone called a WWE cameraman watching the football game of the World Cup. Watching doing Raw. So, oh my God. They found that out. Someone's in trouble. That's how it be sometimes, I guess. Speaking of that, before we leave out, CM Punk, after yesterday winning the WWE Championship on Raw, a lot of negative support saying that he wasn't going to be something that he wasn't, a part-timer coming back to get a title. And a lot of people turn this into a storyline. Could be turning this for CM Punk as a storyline. CM Punk, you got Seth Rollins, you got Jack Perry, a host of others trying to call Punk Becky Lynch trying to call Punk a hypocrite. CM Punk dealing with a lot of stuff coming up. We'll see. He was announced this week he'll be on SmackDown this week. We'll see what CM Punk has to say after winning the WWE Championship and what's next for Cody and what's next for Sami Zayn and what's next for the SummerSlam main event for CM Punk as the headliner as the WWE Champion. Gotta wait and see. Well, we're gonna give you the quick rundown next week. The number one contenders match in a triple threat match. Kelani Jordan, Lola Vice, Kyle Armstrong. Which one of these three lovely ladies will get a shot at the NXT Women's title? We'll see coming up. Roku is in action against Tate Wilder. This is going to be a squash match right here. Roku is going to win this match over Tate Wilder. Tate Wilder, newcomer, really have a chance. Also, too, the NXT Tag Team titles on the line. At the Vanity Project, the champions defend against the makeshift team of Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Duke. We'll see that match. And we'll see Zarya in another squash match, squashing her opponent Layla Diggs after she won her match. So there's going to be a lot of squash matches and predictable matches at the end, but hey, here's what it is. All right, we're going to leave you with the NXT Women's Champion, Kendal Grey, standing amongst her three top contenders that wants a shot at her championship. Can Kendal Grey keep the momentum going, or one of these three sisters will make sure Kendal Grey get a hard lesson that she never really expected. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow for the AEW Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show.